Somewhere out there in a podcast lit apartment stacked with empty takeout boxes and Jordan Peterson hardcovers, a lonely Republican man is wondering why no one loves him. And I want to be kind, God help me, I do, but it's hard because this epidemic of male loneliness on the right, it's not about politics. It's not about masculinity being under attack or that feminism ruined the dance. It's because they keep trying to court women that only exist in campaign ads and TikTok thirst traps made for profit. These men are chasing an idea of womanhood that doesn't exist anywhere outside a screen or a fantasy. Some hyper submissive, Bible toting, Instagram polished Stepford Barbie who votes red, never talks back, and thinks empathy is a liberal plot to weaken men. But here's a kicker: even the women pretending to be that don't believe in it. The influencers they idolize, they're not pious homemakers, they're power chasers. They want the clicks, the contracts, the proximity to men with microphones and donor lists. They don't worship their husbands, they worship the algorithm. And half the time, they're just waiting for the prenup to ripen. These aren't trad wives, they're grift wives, playing a part for the brand deal. And the men are just marks in a pyramid scheme with an American flag draped over it. To be completely fair, not every woman who chooses a traditional path is part of this performance. There are lots of women out here building homes and raising children with strength and dignity and clarity, and not because they were told to, but because they want to. And that's real, and it's beautiful, and this isn't about them. This is about the costume version. Because these men aren't in love with women, they're in love with control. They're in love with a world where women need them, admire them, flatter them, without ever challenging them. That's not partnership, that's not love, that's a mirror, and it's why they stay lonely. Because the moment they meet a real woman, with a spine and a voice and a soul, they flinch. They mock liberal women like they're the enemy of happiness, like liberal is some character flaw, as if a woman who believes in health care, bodily autonomy, and civil rights is somehow a threat. As if the things that make women radiant, kindness, curiosity, imagination, empathy, are liabilities. They sneer at emotional intelligence like it's weakness because it terrifies them. Because they know somewhere deep in that fragile chest that love is an act of vulnerability, and they haven't been vulnerable since they were 12 years old and someone told them to stop crying. So let me be clear. Loneliness is real, pain is real, and men across the country are struggling with isolation, depression, and the ache of not feeling needed. But the solution isn't fantasy, and it isn't rage, and it damn sure isn't doubling down on power games that were rigged from the start. Real connection doesn't come from dominance, it comes from truth. And truth is hard. Truth is waking up and realizing that no one's coming to save you with a flag and a casserole. That the version of womanhood you were promised doesn't exist. And not because it's been stolen, but because it was always a lie. Women are not rewards for loyalty to a political party. Love is not a campaign strategy, and that the problem isn't that women have changed, it's that you haven't. The women you've written off, they are glorious. Not in the billboard way, not in the likes per post kind of way, but in the way a field of sunflowers is glorious, resilient, radiant, and unapologetically alive. They are women of wild laughter and rich grace. They cry at documentaries and cuss at politicians. They bake pies with family recipes and organize fundraisers between shifts. They'll read Baldwin and teach your kids to question everything. They'll march for your rights even when you're mocking theirs. They are sharp, and not just in wit, but in moral clarity. They know what justice looks like because they've had to live without it. They'll fight like hell for trans kids, for health care, for teachers, for you, even when you dismiss them as too emotional. Because their hearts are not weaknesses, they're engines, and they don't run out. They are open-minded, but don't confuse that with soft. They'll sit with hard truths, but they won't coddle your fragile pride. They want conversations, not control. They want partners, not projects. They'll meet you where you are, but only if you're moving forward, because standing still doesn't suit them. They have too much to do. And if you're lucky, they'll love you back. Not because you performed strength, but because you showed them your real self. They'll hold you accountable. They'll pull you toward growth and still curl up beside you like the world's not burning to the ground. These women are everything the right pretends to worship and everything it quietly fears. They are strong, compassionate, brilliant, dangerous to small men with big microphones. They are not just liberal women, they are the moral spine of this country, the soul of resistance, the reason books are written and protests are planned and dinners are cooked even after hard days. And while you were mocking them, they were saving the world you sulk in. So stop pretending this loneliness epidemic is about politics, because it's about ego and it's about fear. It's about boys told never to cry growing into men who don't know how to love. It's about a generation of men who were promised the world and now can't make eye contact with it. So if you want to be loved, be worth loving. Not with a six-pack or a sermon, but with kindness, with truth, with the terrifying, liberating act of being real. And if you can't do that, if you'd rather stay in an echo chamber and double down on the fantasy and chase cartoon women through an algorithm built by men who hate you, then by all means, be lonely. But don't blame women for it. Defiance till death.